as soon as this thing stops spinning, we have to pause this, because otherwise that's when you get feedback, okay? Because this is playing around. And so you just bring this down, go here, pause, and it can just sit like that the whole way through. This allows us to be able to see what people are writing. Okay?
So we leave that pause, but how do we get it?
It's playing. It's recording already down here.
So if somebody's online right now, they're seeing this.
Yep, and hearing us.
And they're hearing us.
A nice talk. And then I try and get this so that communities on the thing. So let's turn the other equipment on, because there's more to it than that. So now this has to be on.
And this is what,
And this is on.
the mic.
That one I do turn on.
And Ramagiri's really good at this, turning this on and off, okay? But if he's not here, you need to do check on that one.
What piece is this? This is
That's
little.
No, that's the mic for
the
that-
camera?
Yeah. It's going into the video recording. So this thing here,
The mic held up here next to the big mic.
Oh.
that goes all the way into this, feeds into here.
So she's got two mics there, and then we've got a mic down here.
Yeah, which is going to go into that computer. And can you get rid of the black line down the side of the computer too? You have to get rid of that, X that out, and clear the chat pod. So, just to X here again. Let's use that. You're doing good.
Wow, that was tricky.
How do you,
Yeah, over this side. There you go. Go ahead. And then go here. You see, if we go click on here, there's a little button, and just go clear chat. So that it all starts nice and real. Okay. And then when Swamini comes, this thing has to be plugged in. We can start sharing now. It's fine.
What thing has to be plugged in?
The speaker,
USB, after
Swamini
usually after
Svatmavidyananda.
somebody sits, we can.
Oh.
Where should I?
Ah, birthday green Swamini. Ah. Oh. This one. Oh, she needs.
Our Harinder.
Probably still far from Swamiji.
Oh.
I think it's
Good.
there. The door has just gone.
Good
I
thing the
think she's
water
coming.
is here.
I think she's just coming.
Where is walking?
So just turn on the sound.
How are you?
Good. I'm going to make sure it's all the way up here. Sound? Yeah. So that's up so you can see it, and then make sure it's turned on. Okay? On here. Yeah. And why is it not a very good spot?
Like Swamini Svatmavidyananda.
That's all. It was facing the light.
Oh, okay.
That's what
Then
happens.
this. Can we plug in here?
Can be plugged in there too?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. This is a new one.
Yeah, this is
I see. How clever.
they're quite smart. So like, you know,
How absolutely clever.
so then that fits up and you put the microphone this on.
Rama. Oh, not like that. Okay.
And this on.
Everything is on. I'm on. You're on. Everybody somehow got here on time. Yeah? Ishvara. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karapavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Namo Bhagavate
Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate Vaivasvataya
Vaivasvataya
Mrityave
Mrityave
Brahma Vidya
Brahma Vidya
Acharyaya
Acharyaya
Nachiketa Secha.
Nachiketa Secha.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vaivasvataya Mrityave Brahma Vidyacharyaya Nachiketa Secha. See how easy? Yeah. So I think we finished the Bhashya for Hantachen Manyate Hantum, correct? We didn't? Huh?
You did the verse.
I did the verse but not the Bhashya?
No.
Okay,
We
that's...
only got the words for the...
Only we
Verse.
finished the verse. Okay. Alright. We'll start with Bhashya. 1 to 19. And if you are following, there should be Kathopanishad here loaded in the current class texts. You go down. Is there Kathopanishad here?
It should be. I think so many times.
No, sometimes things go missing. Because sometimes if it can only accommodate some, and then it automatically boots it out.
It can be
Also,
uploaded.
here Kathopanishad is there, transliterated PDF. So you click on that and get that, if you need to. Okay, so I don't know if the Bhashya is there, but the text is there for sure. Evam bhutam
Evam bhutam
api
api
atmanam
atmanam
shariramaatra
sharirmatra
atmadrishtihi
atmadrishtihi
hanta ched
hanta ched
yadi manyate
yadi manyate
chintayati
chintayati
hantum
hantum
hanishyami
hanishyami
enam iti yaha api anyaha hatah sopi chet manyate hatam atmanam hatoham iti ubhau api tau na vijanitaha.
Na vijanitaha.
Full stop. Yeah. So it's all in the tone. If you say it in that tone, everybody feels like repeating. So here's the thing. It's very, it's kind of a hypothetical Bhashya. You can't take this Bhashya too seriously. In fact, not the Bhashya. You can't take the verse too seriously because it's hypothetically saying, suppose I say I am dead. How can I say I am dead? If I am dead, that means I cannot say I am dead, correct? Yeah, I can say many other things, I can say boo, I can say I'll haunt you, but I can't say I am dead in a certain sense. So even if I'm saying I'm dead, then it is not really saying it because there is, karana abhavat, because there is no instruments to be able to express the fact that one is dead, correct? So this is a hypothetical verse, and then Adi Shankara takes it hypothetically all throughout, kind of with a slight sense of humor which is there throughout. So, he's dealing with it seriously because it's a Shruti verse, but you can see that he's playing also a little bit. And so what have we read so far? It says, Evam bhutam atmanam, the Atma which happens to be of this nature. Which nature? Which was told in the 18th verse. What was that? Na jayate, not subject to birth, not subject to death, and not subject to anything in between, that which is forever, that which I am always wanting to understand, and that which survives the death of this body. Evam bhutam, in this manner, the Atma of this manner, of this nature, evam bhutam atmanam api sharira matra atma drishtihi. So even though the nature of the Atma was revealed to be thus like Atma, thus means as described as beyond death, beyond everything, even though it was there, Adi Shankara says, there are many people that populate this earth. Okay, so what about all of them? These many people who populate this earth, what do they all have in common? They see the Atma as good as this body. So these seers, don't think seers means big sage or anybody. No, the seers of the Atma identified with the body. Yeah. So this is what it is. So sharira matra atma drishtihi yasya saha. So the person, it is a bahuvrihi compound, the person who sees that the Atma is as good as the body. Who is the one who sees that? The ignorant one. So he says, even though the Atma's nature was described just a few weeks ago in the last verse, still there will be plenty of people who subscribe to the view, permanently who subscribe to the view. What is the view? That the Atma is as good as the body. And so for those people, this verse has been crafted. Because, that 18th verse, Najayate mriyate va vipaschit, so beautiful. But it can go like a, drone over the head. Yeah, that's why I use the word drone. Yeah, yes. So, it can go. It means you hear a humming sound and then you see, then it's already gone. You don't even know what went over the head. This is why it is called drone. And the words also are seen as droning in the ears. And so it goes above the head because of lack of what? Adhikaritvam. What is adhikaritvam? The qualifications for knowing the Atma. What are they? That open, receptive, calm, resolved mind without all these busynesses, without all the passions for other things, is not there. Where the passion has resolved into compassion, that is the kind of mind is needed, to study Bhashya, to study Vedanta. And so even though the Atma is explained in glowing terms and exactly how it is not internalized. Why? Because Sharira Matra Atma Drishtihi. Sharira Matra means, Matra here doesn't mean only. Sharira Parimanaha means the size of the body is the size of the Atma. Yeah, it could also be upon only the body itself is Atma, one meaning, but a better meaning is the Atma is as good as the size of the body, Sharira Parimana, because then he is going to talk about that Parimana in the next verse, so it is a little relevant to take it like that. So those people who see the Atma as good as the body, as good as the mind, they don't understand anything else. What about them? So let's hear what happens to them. So what do they say? They say hanta ched yadi manyate. So such a person, who is having Atma Drishti as good as the Sharira, such a person, yadi, if they think, what is that? If they think hanta ched, that if they are submerged in guilt, subsumed by guilt, so what will they think? I am the killer. Let's say someone who has a lot of guilt says, it's because of my neglect that this person died. Maybe they were not actively involved, they did not take a sword or give them poison, but perhaps they were just a little too late in coming when the call came or something happened. People live with a lot of omissions and commissions, so they feel like, if I had been there, I would have taken them to the hospital. If I had been there, this person would not have fallen and gone into a coma, so many things. So these kinds of guilt, I actually am the one who is responsible for such a person's death. So such a person, if that feeling is there, yadi, so it's a hypothetical verse, yadi chintayati manyate, yadi, if that person, chintayati means obsesses with this thought, then, so that is one scenario. And let us imagine one more person. Who is the first person? Sharira Matra Atma Drishtihi, person number one. The one who is identified with the body thinks that I am the cause of someone else's death. And then and let's think that another person of the same mindset, thinking that the Atma is as good as the body, actually plots a killing, and says that hanishyami enam iti chet manyate. So now there are two hypothetical people. Both of them have Sharira Matra Atma Drishti. Both of them think the Atma is as good as the body. So out of these two archetypes, these ideal types, one of them, what does he think? He thinks that because of me somebody died. The other, and really speaking, he or she is not culpable. He just thinks that because of my omissions and commissions, is riddled with a feeling of guilt. The other one is a crafty plotter and starts to plot someone's death. Hanishyami enam. Kimartham, why will I hanishyami, why will I kill this person? Because this person is in my way of getting the power, the status, the money, whatever it is I want. This person has to be off with his head, the one who thinks. So now these two are there, hataha. Then api anyaha. So the third one now he is bringing in. So now the third one is also coming, in the picture. So who is the third one? Yaha api anyaha hataha saha api chet manyate hatam atmanam hatoham iti. So now the third fellow is there. What is the third fellow? The one who is the victim of the crafty plotter discussed earlier. Correct? And so what happens? He is already killed, he or she. And so he says, Ayyayo, I am dead. Hatoham, I am dead. How can anyone say that? But anyhow, this one says that. So that's why it says, Yadi chet manyate, chet, yadi means if, all these hypothetical particles, indeclinable particles that show the hypothetical nature is talked about. So yadi, chet, and the chet plus manyate becomes chain. So look for chain and chet, together they are the same. So now there are three kinds of people, correct? And here, that is why the Bhashya is important, because what does the the Shastra say, Ubhau tau na vijanitah. These two don't know. Correct? But actually there are three fellows. And really speaking, there are two, because the first one, who is riddled with omissions and commissions, and the second one, the crafty plotter, they come from the same, side of the story. They come from the side of the story that represents agents of killing. Adi Shankara brings in the first one, the accidental killer, in the sense of the one who is not plotting, because, this is what vartate loke. In the world, this is what you find. You normally don't, have in your friends list a group of people who are offing others or plotting. But you do have among, your acquaintances and friends, those who feel so guilty because somebody died because of their neglect or because they were not able to act in time or whatever, So therefore, Adi Shankara, out of his practical way, puts this, the first category, the one who thinks oneself to be the agent of killing, splits that into two, so that it becomes more relevant for everyone. So this is what the whole thing is. So then the third fellow is not really the third fellow. The second fellow only is there. So who is the second fellow? The one who says Hatoham. Yeah. Iti ubhau api, these two sets of people, this is what we have to say, the two sets of people, and na vijanitah, vijanati, vijanitah, vijananti. Okay? Janati, janitah, jananti. From jna to know. So janitah, dual. Ubhau tau, these two people don't know. Kim na vijanitah, swatmanam. No, swam atmanam. Yatah na ayam hanti avikriyatvad atmanah tatha na hanyate akashavat avikriyatvad. So these two sets of people do not know. What do they not know? They don't know many things, But above all, they don't know the main thing. And what is the main thing? Na ayam hanti. This ayam here always for Atma. Ayam Atma, tad Brahma. Always. Ayam Atma, this Atma, and that Brahman. Why Ayam Atma? Because it is readily available as I. That's why Ayam Atma must be read as I am Atma. Yeah, I am Atma. See? That's how to understand it. So that's why it is this. Because objects that are close to me, I use the preposition this. Idam, I am. Idam is the same as I am. I am is masculine. That's all. So idam is this, neuter. I am masculine. So I'm not a man. Why I am? Atma is masculine. Yeah. So I am Atma. I am Atma. This Atma, where always Tad Brahma. Yeah. Tadeva Brahma Tvam Vidhi Nedam Yadidam Upasate. Tad Brahma. Brahman is always Tat. Why? It is supposedly removed from my understanding and awareness as the truth of myself. It is not locally available. It is not subject to objectification. It is therefore seen as something away from me. Tad Brahma. I am Atma. Except I am Atma, Brahma, Mahavakya of the Mandukya Upanishad. So where the I am also goes to I am Atma, I am Brahma. So it's not just I am Atma, I am also Brahman. Mandukya Upanishad talks about that. But in other places, when the Mahavakya is not there, it is always Tat. Yeah, Tat Tvamasi. Even in Mahavakya, it is referred to as Tat. And then it is brought down to seeing that it is just you. So here, I am Atma, na vijanitah. What do they not know? Kim na vijanitah, tau ubhau. Those two, what do they not know? They don't know that this Atma, which is themselves alone, nahanti, does not kill. Why? One reason is given. Avikriyatvat. In the last stanza, in the last verse, Atma was shown to be without vikriya, modifications. No modifications at all. And so therefore here also avikriyatvat. Vikriya is not there. What is vikriya? Modifications. So modifications are not there for this Atma. What will it modify into? Yeah? What will it modify into? Into another second thing. Not possible. Because why cannot it modify into two? Because it is not, subject to divisions. So unlike amoeba, once you put the petri dish and look inside the microscope, there is one fellow, waving. And then you look again, now there are two fellows. It has split, And then you look, 10 minutes later, it's 4. And then it goes in increments. After 4, it doesn't become 6. Straight away 8. Yeah. And then from 16. Like this it multiplies. That's why we need antibiotics, Yeah. That's why without penicillin, I don't know how people lived, So this is why we need antibiotics, because they are multiplying at a very fast rate. So the Atma will not multiply, correct? And it is indivisible because it is whole. Because it is free of modifications, means free of multiplication. It cannot dress up, it cannot, because, it is not available for modification because, anya vastu abhavat. Because there is, if it is subject to modification, the modification needs a modifying agent, correct? That modifying agent, someone who is being the impetus, like even for the pearl in the oyster, there is a little dust mite or that some dust body of sand enters, and this little pearl, prani, this creature becomes very, defensive and afraid, and spins its saliva around itself to protect itself from this dust or some other predator. It thinks it's a predator. Then you have a wonderful pearl with a natural hole in it. Because that hole is the way it goes in and out of this thing, and it lives there safely. So like this, so the Atma, in order to undergo some modification, what should happen? Something else should come and modify it. And nothing else is there, Atma alone is there, correct? So then, or it should modify on its own spontaneously. And that it cannot, because it is free of all doership, all vikaras. So Swagata it cannot do, and Vigata is not there, Swagata is not there, and nothing like it is there, nothing unlike it is there, and it's the only thing in the universe, and it happens to be limitless and whole, so therefore it cannot be killed. It is not an object of operation, of putting to an end by something else. Avikriyatvat. And Adi Shankara makes it very easy for himself. For the same reason, it is not the killer. Avikriyatvat. He says both for the same, he gives the same, hetu, reason. Why can't it be the killer? Because, see, supposing now thinker, now doer, now receiver, now enjoyer, now sleeper, now eater, then now killer, correct? So already there is a modification. So for the same reason, Atma is not the killer, avikriyatvat, because it is free of all modifications. For the same reason, Atma is not killed, because it is free of all modifications. Finished? Yeah, because this is where you see a little sense of humor, nothing more. Same reason for both of the things. This is called, what is that? With with the same with the same arrow you hit two targets. So here the same arrow, the arrow is avikriyatvam atmanaha, and the fact that Atma is free of modifications, that is the same reason why it is not the agent of killing, and neither it is the object of, it's not the agent and it's not the victim of being killed either. So, and he gives an example, akashavat, like even space. Can the space be cut up? No. Can the space kill something? No. Can the space feel too crowded? No. So, yeah, the space cannot say I need more space, So like this, the space is free from all vikaras. But certain vikaras you still see. You say talamala, talamala means sometimes you look you climb a mountain, you should go to a big city, and then like Los Angeles, and then you climb, whatever mountain they have, and then you see some high place, Beverly Hills, there you go. You go on the Beverly Hill, and then you look around, and on the evening sunset time, you see this blackish brown snake-like thing all around the horizon. What is that? Smog. Yeah, S for smog. And now this smog, you say, oh, the space is polluted. You can say that. Oh my God, there is so much, but is space really polluted? No. It just appears like that in association with this smoggy, boggy thing. That's all it is. Correct? So similarly, Atma is neither the killer nor killed, but then if you happen to meet a manifestation of the Atma behind the bars in death row, that means that through the association of the body mind, that particular body mind sense complex, and through the abuse of the free will, Atma has also been jailed along with the body mind sense complex. This is what is called Sahavasa dosha, the fallacy of living along with, whatever that is. So living along with all the finite things, the infinite also comes under the spate of the verdict, guilty, and is put behind the bars. So it is just like saying the space is polluted, So even in the someone who is a habitual offender, pun intended, habitually offs people, at the end of every conversations, habitual offender, and even this person, this person's Atma is also free from the killership. Now doership, now a little specialized doership is killership, and killedship also, all very free. Totally free, just like the space, totally free. And then so if it is free, then why this verse is there is explained at the very end. It's almost like Bhashyakara says, okay, let's get on with it and move on, because we know why this verse is made. Ataha anatmagnya vishayaha eva evam eva dharma adharmadi lakshanaha samsaraha na brahmajnasya na brahmajnasya shruti pramanyat न्यायाच्च धर्म अधर्माद् अनुपपत्तेः Yeah. So he is now had it with this verse. He says, let's move on, because we know that ataha, therefore he says, what do we conclude from this verse? Why is this verse there? He said, let's just conclude it, summarily right now. And what do we say by means of conclusions? Anatmagnya vishayaha eva. So all this killedship, this discussion is not for the Atmajnani. Who is Atmajnani? The knower of the self. So the knower of the self is not going to be scratching the head and thinking, is Atma killer? Is Atma killed? Oh, thank God this verse came and told me Atma is neither the killer nor the killed. Otherwise I would have never known. This is not what the Jnani is saying. The knower of the Atma is not saying this. Who is worried about the killership and the killedship? anatmagnyah. The one who knows anatma, no. Na atmagnyah, that is what? Not see, atmanam janati iti atmagnyah. Anatmanam janati iti anatmagnyah na. Atmanam na janati iti anatmagnyah. So the one who doesn't know Atma alone, and this was pointed out earlier, Sharira Matra Atma Drishtihi Yasya. So the same person, the person who is not having any idea about the Atma, the one who doesn't know Atma, that is the person who is going to be obsessed with killership and killedship. Why? Because this subject matter, this Vishayaha, which Vishayaha characterized by Lakshanaha, Dharma adharmadi lakshanaha vishayah. So this subject matter characterized by the pairs of dvandva, opposites. Dharma, adharma, good, bad, correct, wrong. All these things belong to the low level, understanding of this spiritual, life. So, because when one is starting a spiritual life, those things become relevant. Dharma, adharma, what to do, what not to do, when to do, swadharma, what should I do, all these things become relevant. And the person is striving to follow dharma deliberately and then hoping that one day it will become natural. So, for such people, this is relevant, even to understand all this. But really speaking, from the standpoint of the one who knows, this is not relevant at all, because the one who knows is not going to be in any which way troubled to the slightest by these pairs of opposite, and will not sit and wonder whether Atma is killer or killed. Yeah, there is no place for that wondering at all. So therefore he says anatmagya vishayaha eva. So let's not bother with this, because this is not the stuff that we are made for. We are made for understanding what is Atma. Then suddenly why this verse came, it's also for those people who are, in spite of being explained, to them, they are not able to understand for whatever reason. So for them, it also absolves them of this dharma and adharma feeling, the hurt and guilt, and thereby perhaps gets them ready for this knowledge. But it is not certainly for the person who is already ready for this knowledge, or who is already knowing this and assimilated this knowledge. So anatmagya vishayaha eva. What is this vishayaha? This subject matter, dharmadi dharma lakshanaha. And what is this pairs of opposites? What do they comprise? Nothing but samsara. Yeah, samsara galore, because samsara is full of to do or not to do. That is the question. Yeah. Samsara is the place where people are afraid of slings and arrows of outrageous karma, fortune. Samsara is the place where people bother about opposites. So he says, this is all anatmagya vishayaha. And this does not concern, this discussion, neither this discussion nor the pairs of opposite concerns not the brahmagya, atmagya. So why is very beautifully said, because the Shruti Pramanyat, the Vedic, the authority of the Shruti as a means of knowledge, what it says about the knower of the self, and Nyayatcha, the Nyaya here means common sense, don't think it is logic, but here it's just common sense. Nyayatcha, what you see in the world. What do you see in the world? That both dharma and adharma are inappropriate for the knower of Brahman. Why? Because the person is not seeing the world in terms of this dvandva duality. So that means the Atmagyani can do whatever they want. Yes, they can do whatever they want. Oh, that doesn't sound right. So they can, they can say Hanishyami aham enam. They can say, I'm going to kill this person. They will not say that. That is the idea. Why will they not say that? Because they see dharma as Ishvara, and they are one with Ishvara. They see themselves as Ishvara, they see Dharma as Ishvara, they see everything as Ishvara. So, they being one with Ishvara, they will not go against Dharma. They are incapable of going against Dharma. So, prasaktasya pratishedha means you only deny something that one is capable of doing. So, you don't tell, Agnim na pibet, don't drink fire. Nobody says that. Why? Because nobody is foolish enough to drink fire. Suram na pibet, don't drink alcohol. Yes, the Shruti says that because there is a possibility of people drinking alcohol. So therefore, be dharmic. Nobody tells an Atmagyani. Why? Because the possibility of adharma is not there. That has been glossed over completely. That is not even in the situation for the Atmagyani. So therefore, this verse is for whom? Anatmagyaha or Atmagyaha? Anatmagyaha. To assure them that Atma is free of hurt and guilt. Atma cannot kill and cannot to just sort of flush out what was there told in the last mantra. So Anupapattehe means it's not even possible. Not at all possible. Anupapatti means not appropriate, untenable. All these meanings are there. Upapatti, Anupapatti. Katham punaha Atmanam janati Ityuchyate. Yeah, so then how to know this Atma? If it is not to be known like this is Anatmagya Vishaya. To waste our time thinking where is Atma going to kill or be killed. Then how does one know the self? Iti uchyate. The Shruti is now going to say, this is what has been said. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan.
Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan.
Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan.
Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan.
Atmasya jantor nihitam guhayam, or nihito, whatever it is. Atmasya jantor nihito guhayam. Atmasya jantor nihito guhayam. Tamakratuh pashyati vita shokah.
Tamakratuh pashyati vita shokah.
Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah.
Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah.
Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah.
Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah.
One more time I think is due. Yeah. Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan.
Anoraniyan mahato mahiyan.
Atmasya jantor nihito guhayam.
Atmasya jantor nihito guhayam.
Tamakratuh pashyati vita shokah. Tamakratuh pashyati vita shokah. Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah.
Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah.
Yeah, don't stop, see, it is tempting and it's correct also. It's mahimanam atmanah. But when we are chanting together, don't stop there for a tea break. Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah. Dhatu prasadan mahimanam atmanah. Yeah, there is some bhadrata, auspiciousness in chanting it like that, because that sandhi is there. So we learn to chant it like that. Everyone is doing very well. Yeah. So this is a very interesting verse, and it's quoted also in some other places. Very nice and oft quoted. It's a, what's the word for it? It's a wonderful verse for the Vedantin, wannabe, for the Mumukshu and for the Jignasu, because it this one, the verse number 20, 21 and 22, these three present the Atma through a series of paradoxes. And without paradox, without the deployment of this pedagogical device called paradoxy, it is completely, it's not, one is not able to know the Atma as oneself. Because, these paradoxes bring out, they clean the mind of its tendency to just catch hold of one thing and sit with it. Mind is very boring. Yeah. What it does, it catches hold and it wants to box it quickly and hold it. This is my knowledge, this is exactly what Atma looks like, and I'm going to wrap it up, and I'm not going to listen to anything else, and nothing else is going to come in because this is what I have concluded, and nothing else is going to go out either because by that time I have forgotten. So, so like this, one neither is able to dismiss what the preconceived notions, nor is one able to, nor is one able to receive what is actually being taught. So therefore, there is this methodology used in the, in the teaching of Vedanta, which basically goes in and just, slaps off all the notions inside the Antakarana. Just shake it all up like a salad. It's all tossed up in the air. It's a whole toss up. And this is a very important, pedagogy, because it is only through this shaking up, after one's all the ideas of oneself, about oneself are totally shaken up, then only something will go in. In other words, the knower is shaken up. Not what they know. The knower is itself shaken up. Kind of like, when I was a child, there was this roadside magic show that used to come. And we all used to run and go to see this, And it featured a lot of things. First it featured, you looked into these things and saw one two-headed goat, two-headed cat, something. Always it had two heads, And, and then that was one component. Another one was this, what else? The making things disappear component. And this third component was something called zigzag lady. Yeah, it was very interesting. And I found of all the magic tricks, this one was the best in my mind, It used to come once a month and we could not just wait. We just run out to the street and look at it. And, I thought this was like the best entertainment. And out of all the things this magician had, this one was very fascinating. It was called Zigzag Lady. And when zigzag is said in a thick, heavy Indian accent, it is articulated as Jig-Jog Lady, So we were all very interested in seeing this Jig-Jog Lady. And what it entailed was that one woman would come nicely dressed, and then she would wave to the audience is encircling, she would wave to everybody and get into a box, And you don't see her face, you see two hands and two legs. The feet come out, there are holes for the feet to come out, And then, and the box is closed. First he shows you the box, it's open. This nice smiling lady wearing lipstick, she smiles and she waves a hanky, goes inside, and then she puts her hands and legs, only the hands and the feet are shown. And then, there is a little kind of a thing that he pulls. So the hand goes up, the legs go up in all, impossible contorted ways. One would think that all her bones are being broken. And for sound effect, they would have some, no, and the sound of breaking bones and all these things were there in the background, being belted out through an old machine, these recorded sounds. Then she would come out. Then after all these tortures, with the whole thing being pulled with an elastic band, he would pull all these, he would tie these elastic bands and pull it in the most unimaginable ways. And then he would stop and she would come out, nothing has happened to her, all smiling and go. It turns out that the box had a false compartment in which two other ladies were sitting. So somebody put somebody's hand, somebody's face, like this, it was all managed. Of course, I came to know of it much later. But to watch this, to watch this jig-jag lady going all over the place. It was so much fun. And so that's exactly, I remembered this because I thought, maybe at that time I thought maybe I can use this for this. Who knows? But somehow it is coming in handy now because this is exactly what Vedanta does. This, Shruti lady is a zigzag lady. It takes the mind into various contortions possible and ousts all the notions of the Atma from within. It decolonizes the mind, it deprograms the mind because one is already into all kinds of programmings. Even the one who says, no, I have no programming, in fact they have the most programming. So therefore, the 20, 21 and 22 are this short but short but drastic course in the deprogramming of this mind. So here, Anoho Aniyan. Anu means what? Atom. Not Anu, that means an upasarga. It's a prefix. Anusarati, Anugachati. That's a prefix. Na, that is the dental na. This is the cerebral na, Anu. When you say Anu, it means such a small atom that you cannot even see it. Something so small that it is practically invisible. Anu. Anoho, of the smallest. Aniyan. Aniyan means smaller, comparative. Iyasun and Ishtan, So Aniyan, smaller. Anoho, Aniyan, smaller than the smallest. What? Atma. This Atma is smaller than this what? Yeah, I am Atma. This Atma is smaller than the smallest thing available on this universe. Oh, big deal. Then why should I learn about it? Mahato, Mahiyan, Mahataha. Mahat means what? Big, great, huge, mammoth, massive, gigantic, colossal. Mahataha, of the biggest. Mahataha means, Mahan means big, Mahataha means of the biggest. Mahiyan, bigger, smaller than the smallest. See, do you see the zigzag lady? Ooh, I got the Atma, smaller than the smallest. No, bigger than the biggest. Make up your mind. Is it smaller than the smallest? Is it bigger than the biggest? Zigzag. Yeah, I just keep on going back and forth where the mind cannot just, the mind is oriented towards categories. So it cannot put a size, mass, volume, measurement, weightage on the Atma. Smaller than the smallest. As soon as I put my mind around that, I try to grasp that in the form of a thought, immediately the mind is bombarded with the opposite, bigger than the biggest. Oh, then what? Where is it? If it's bigger than the biggest, where will it fit? How come I can't see it? Atma asya jantoho. Jantu, and jantu, jantuhu, jantu, jantavaha. Jantu, u ending noun, which means being. Jantu. Asya jantoho, for this very being, nihitaha guhayam. Very common phrase which we have discussed many times. Nihitaha means ni plus dha, placed carefully. Nishchayen, and definitely it is there. Where is this Atma? Carefully and nicely placed, ensconced. Where? In the cave. Guhayam. It must be a very big cave. No, it's smaller than the smallest. So it could be a small cave. So at this point, what is happening? All my misconceptions are caving in. That's all is happening. Every misconception I had about the Atma has no room to go. No room to go anywhere except to go. So, it doesn't have a room to hide. So it is like this verse is like the pesticide for the mind, where all the hiding pests of wrong notions just go everywhere. They just leave their hiding places, they leave their little cobwebs, and they leave this cave and completely just, leave it open for the words of the teaching to finally penetrate and not be eaten away through these termites. So all the mites and the termites leave because they cannot handle it. Atma nihitaha asya jantoho guhayam. In the very heart cave, mind cave of this being, buddhi cave, all of them. All is one. In fact, the mind is nothing but the heart. There is no mind other than the heart. So in the mind cave, buddhi cave, and buddhi is talked about as a cave. Why? Because Natra Suryo Bhati. There the sun of self-knowledge does not shine, doth not shine. And then what? There the stalactites and stalagmites of doubt grow. There the bats of Anyatha Grahanam proliferate. Anyatha Grahanam means wrong misconceptions about the eye. The bats of, wrong notions prevail. And then what? There, the Bhagavan that is there is covered up by my own ignorance. That is why cave. There, the light of self-knowledge does not penetrate unless one makes an effort and actually asks for this. There, where all the ragadveshas have become an evergreen, overgrown forest, where some pruning is needing to be done. That's why, for these reasons, it is called a cave. Cave also is a place where, it's a place of secrets. Because you never know what you will find. Everyone wants the treasure. But before the treasure comes, wild animals come out. Because they have been guarding the treasure. Even in the, grim fairy tale, pun intended, that, really those brothers were aptly named. The brothers Grimm. Yeah. Which one is, how children can listen to this? I don't know. That to bedtime. Think, forget sleep. Yeah, you read Hansel and Gretel, horror stories. Yeah, Sleeping Beauty, everything, horrible stories. But this is the whole thing. And so, like that, the mind is filled with, the treasure is there. The treasure is Atma, it is hidden. But before you go in terms of the treasure hunt, every mumukshu says, I have the map. Yes. And in fact, my guru has the map. My map is what is that? Without a mistake, it is my map is the perfect map. My guru has shown me the way. My guru has also given me a lantern. It is called Tattva Bodha, whatever it is called. It is called Bhagavad Gita, whatever it is. So I am going to go find the treasure. Then what happens? A roar is heard. Oh. All the lions, tigers, hyenas, meerkats, cheetahs, all of them come. These meerkats, these meerkats, they are like a cross between a raccoon and a cat, big cat. And they have these lovely kajal on the eyes, like collyrium. Deadly things, yeah. They have sign language, they can communicate to one another miles away, and they can just gherao means they can surround the prey. They have SMS without cell phone. Think of how smart they are. Yeah, they can just look, and sometimes they are facing, when you see 3 or 4 of them facing a certain way, that it's a sign for all the others to see something is happening, and they all just, because they are not very big. Like lion and all, they can single-handedly throw one bison and up in the air, catch it, kill it, and then have the lion's share. Meerkat is a small little thing. If you show it one stick, it will go squealing, into the bushes. So it's not very big. But what is their strength is the numbers. You see this in this National Geographic, they'll show. It will do one sign and all of them come and hone in on this poor deer who is 3 times as big as any one of them, but all of them together make short shrift of this. So all these wild animals come out instead of the treasure, and the mumukshu throws the map and runs away. Bye bye Vedanta. What is this wild animal? Unconscious. Yeah, bubbles from the unconscious. People tell me until I studied Vedanta, I was fine. Everything was going very well. As soon as I studied Vedanta, all these discomfort and these wild things and intractable wild cats have started to come out, and therefore I am going to leave Vedanta. Wonderful decision. Tathastu, namo namaha. That's not a wonderful decision. You can reduce the number of classes if that happens. You keep coming. That is the way to do it. Reduce the classes. Go away for a while, do something else. Reduce the classes, keep coming. Keep in touch. And so, this is what the guha, that is why it is called guha. Because I don't know what is happening there. And these wild animals are my own unconscious. My anger, my fear, my abandonment, my depression, my sorrow, my lack of, understanding, everything which is just sitting bottled there bubbles up in this guha, whatever it is called. So therefore, nihito guhaya. But it is seeable because pashyati, sees. Who sees? Tam pashyati, tam atmanam pashyati. But the one person can see the Atma, see within quotes. See means know. Because really you cannot see Atma. What you can do is know the Atma as which is as well as seeing it. Know how? As that self-evident, self-conscious entity which is the cause of the universe, that presence which inheres everything in this universe. So this is how I see the Atma. Kam pashyati, atmanam pashyati. This is how we learn Sanskrit. What is seen? Who sees what? Sees the Atma. Kaha pashyati? Who sees? Who sees? What is the answer there? Kratuhu. Very good. Kratu means ritual. Akratuhu means what?
Not ritual.
No ritual. Yeah. So when it is used in terms of a person, akratuhu, the person who does no ritual. He alone sees, she alone sees. Who is this person who doesn't do any ritual? Some atheist? Some person? No, here it's a sannyasi. Oh, up till now I was with you. Now I don't like this class very much because I am not ready to take sannyasa. If I take sannyasa and then only I can see the Atma, no thank you. No. Akratu means disposition wise. Not that one has actually taken sarva karma sannyasa, not that one has gone through the rituals of sannyasa. What have they done? They have the same disposition, the mental and the heart disposition of a sannyasi. In other words, akratuhu means the one who has vairagya. Yes. Akama hataha. In another Upanishad it is called akama hataha. Shrotriyasya akama hatasya. Akama hataha. How do you resolve akama hataha?
Kama, no kama.
Hataha means killed by kama. Akama hataha. Akama hataha. How do you resolve? No, how in English you tell. Yeah. Yeah. So kama, one who is one who is not killed by or hijacked by desire. not akamena hataha, not the one who is hijacked by no desire, no. The one who is not hijacked by desire is called akama hataha akratuhu. Akratuhu means the one who is not into rituals. Why do you do rituals? For karma phala, to get something or the other. What do you get? As a result, you get some small treats in samsara. The bitter pill of samsara to swallow, they will give you a little, cool and sweet drink to help the medicine go down. Correct? Yeah. So what is the use? I still have to swallow the bitter pill of samsara. That is, I am not having any option there. So it's just perpetuating samsara. Even when I do the ritual, I get the karma phala in the form of a few planks that I put together, with my shraddha, and then I sit on it, and then try to row the boat through the troubled waters of samsara. The owl and the pussy cat went to sea in a pea green boat. They took some honey and some money wrapped in a 5-pound note. This is what it is, This is what it is. Unlikely mates, owl and pussycat. Actually pussycat should be eating up the owl. Or if it's a big great horned owl, the owl should be saying, this is just dinner, But they are, they are actually soulmates, and they have decided to elope in a pea green boat, on the sea of samsara. And they have a little bit of honey to eat, and they have some money also wrapped. The honey is also wrapped in the 5-pound note, rendering it unserviceable now. And then what? Then they try to get married in the sea of samsara, and then they don't have a ring. Then what happens? One pig comes and says, here is the ring at the end of my nose. Please take this ring. With this ring I thee wed. This is what is samsara. So in samsara, the whole chain of events is all wrong. Anything that I do to get myself some alleviation from samsara. Then I find that I'm in it deeper and deeper and deeper. Deeper and deeper, I'm just falling. Yeah. Starting with falling in love, then everything is just falling after that. Yeah. It's all falling. So then I think, I think I can just, make it to the other shore with these planks of punya planks put together with my shraddha. Plavahiyete adrida yajna rupaha. Another Upanishad which we are studying, Mundaka, says that these rafts of what? These rafts of punya put together, karma phala, are adridaha. Adrida means what? Not firm, very flimsy, uncertain. They are going to collapse. In fact, the planks are going to disappear. The samsara water is going to rot the punya very quickly. And then you find yourself adrift in the sea again, planning another ritual. What is the use? So therefore, if you are planning one ritual after another, and ritual is the metaphor for this kind of a involvement in the life, and it's what you can eke out of life. Involvement in doing and the results of your doing. It doesn't have to be some complicated, elaborate ritual. Anything that you do is a ritual. So then what happens as a result? As a result of your involvement, what happens is more involvement. Yeah, you try to come out of the wave and only to be tied up by the seaweeds. You escape the riptides to be tied up by the seaweeds. You escape the seaweed, then the passing shark becomes, you become the prey. Correct? And then what? You escape the passing shark with a few appendages still intact, few digits still you can count, and then what? Then you become prey to another disaster lurking in the ocean. So it's just like that. You were saved from the riptide to the seaweed, from the seaweed to the shark, from the shark to being dehydrated because there is nothing to drink. All the water is all salty. So like this, one thing after the other. And so therefore, where is the time, where is the inner space to appreciate yourself as not subject to samsara at all. To see that these waters of samsara that you are trying to navigate is only there in your dream. It's not really there. Oh, so I have fabricated it? Absolutely. Why did I fabricate it? Because that's how everything looks scary when you feel, when you identified with the finite, everything looks scary. And the troubled waters of samsara keep multiplying. Why? Because you are crying into it. So that is also salt water, AB salt water. You are adding to everyone's tears, all the tears of the jiva together make the waters of samsara. Simple. Yeah, salty oceanic water. It keeps increasing because your tears don't stop. Because your tears don't stop, you need a little bit of respite. And so you come up for air, little celebration, marriage here, graduation there, thread ceremony there, something or the other there, and finish. Then back to glub, glub, glub. Just on the cusp of drowning is every samsarin. Yeah, who is samsarin? One who is in samsara. That's all it is. And so therefore, in order to understand this Atma, I need some space. I need to be able to take a deep breath without getting that salt water in my lungs. And I need to be able to breathe freely and deeply and say, yes, I am Atma Aham. This is me. This is all me. This samsara is my own projection. In fact, when I see this, I understand from the standpoint of the akratuhu, the one who doesn't want anything. The only thing they want is to resolve all the wants. That's the only thing to want. Because every other want cannot be fixed. Therefore, one keeps being a wanting, present continuous person. Always continuously reproducing samsara because all the wants, are dissipated into objects. So my wanting an object is a spoof for really wanting the subject. But how can I want the subject? I am the subject. Yes, but the subject is subject to ignorance. So separated as though by ignorance, I am wanting what I, already have. I am the possessor of the self and I am wanting communion with the self. This is the problem. This is the issue. So therefore, where did this samsara come? Look at how all the waters dried up. Yeah, when I understand this, there is no samsara. There is no seaweed. There is no, shark. There is no alligator. There is nothing. All the tears dried up. So salt water also dried up. What is there is just myself that I need to know. And if this space is not there, if I don't know that all the things that I want in life are a spoof to really understanding myself, what I really want is to be freed of the tyranny of wants. The tyranny of being a wanting person is the saddest biography I can write for myself, autobiography. Auto means that which is automatically written. This is the default. The saddest autobiography is that I am a wanting self. Nobody wants to be wanting. You ask somebody, do you still want to be incomplete and wanting all the time? Everybody is going to say no. So there is a built-in distaste for being a wanting person. Everyone has it. But yet people are not in touch with it because they are so busy trying to get at something or the other that will make them feel complete. Yes, it does make it feel complete for some time. Soon after that, it dissipates and then one is on to the next thing. This is called fir kya psychology. Fir kya means what next. So then with that same mindset one comes to Vedanta. Okay, I have studied Kathopanishad, fir kya? Okay, Kenopanishad, fir kya? Uske baad fir kya? What next? This is not the way. This is not the definition of akratuhu. Akratuhu means the one who has no access to grind. The one who wants only to not want anymore. That is the only thing to want. Because that's the only want that can be fulfilled. Because all it needs is to see you as yourself, the glory of you. So therefore, tam akratuhu eva pashyati. eva pashyati, kam pashyati, atmanam pashyati, or atmanah mahimanam pashyati. This is how you do the grammar. Kam pashyati, that also has to end in mahimanam pashyati. Kasya mahimanam pashyati, atmanah mahimanam pashyati. Mahima, glory. See, there are a set of words, Mahima, Garima, Nilima, all these things. And because they end in long A, people keep them as the names for girl children in India. But actually they are all masculine nouns. They are all masculine. Mahima, Mahiman, Gariman, Laghiman, Niliman, and it declines Mahima, Mahimanau, Mahimanah. So they think it is a girl's name. Just like Atma, it is Nakaranta, it all declines as A. So Atma is also not a girl's name, it's a masculine noun. Same thing with Mahima. So here Mahima means glory. Mahimanam, glory. That glory, Pashyati, they see the glory of their own self. They revel in the glory of the non-wanting self. And they revel in the glory of the non-complaining self, the non-judging self, the self-adequate self, the self that is unencumbered by all kinds of notions. This self, they revel in the glory. They are so happy because there is nothing to complain about. There is nothing to worry about. Tam akratuhu pashyanti akratavaha pashyanti. They all see this and they revel in the glory of oneself, of their own self. Atmanam pashyanti, atmanaha mahimanam pashyanti. Katham pashyanti, kasmat pashyanti. Because of what do they see it? What is the word? Kasmat. It should rhyme with kasmat. Read and tell me. Kasmat pashyanti. Dhatu prasadat, very good. Pashyanti, dhatu prasadat pashyanti. Kasmat, because of what? Dhatu prasadat. This dhatu prasada, you should hear Pujya Swamiji explaining. Ah, heaven, delightful. He can just go on and on and on. So, dhatu prasada here means two things, at least two. We may encounter it may mean more things than two, but two main things we can touch upon for today. Next time we'll take it up. So the first thing is that dhatu prasadat means that the blessing of prasada here, blessing. Dhatu here is also one's own body, which is comprising 7 kinds of dhatus, 6 kinds of dhatus, bones, blood, all these things. That is called dhatu. Dhatu here means, the blessing of one's own body means what? One's health is incumbent upon studying Vedanta, correct? Yeah, one's health, one's ability to get to class, one's perseverance, one's resolve, all these things come in. Dhatu prasada also means Guru prasadat, through the blessing of the Shruti, the Acharya and oneself. So one blesses oneself to study this teaching. So through this Atma Anugrahena, Dhatu Prasadat means Atma Anugraha. See, Guru's blessings can be there. Guru says, please come to class. Don't not come. Please come. I want to see you there. So that is Guru's blessing. Let us take it as that. When the Guru says, you please come to class, and that there is a class to go to, it is a blessing. Right? So that is a Guru's blessing. Then Bhagavan's blessing. Then in coming to class, there is no, tire that becomes as flat as a chapati. There is no flat tire. There is nothing. In fact, online, there is no computer glitches and I am able to listen. This is another prasada. This is called Bhagavat prasada. Bhagavan's blessing. And then finally, Atma prasada. That is Dhatu prasada. Also is Atma prasada. I can sit in the class, I can resolve to come, I can even, be in the room. But if I don't give myself the permission to allow this knowledge, to allow the privilege of receiving this blessing, I have to consider myself worthy of receiving these blessings. then only pashyanti. You know? So this is a very important component. We'll talk about it more next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Yeah, any questions?
Not a question, but someone called Asi. A-S-A. It
Hmm.
says Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. Yeah, today is Shankara Jayanti. Very nice that we had Adi Shankara's Bhashya. They say on Shankara's birthday. Adi Shankara's birthday is today. Yes, and see, that's another reason they wrote new things. Fantastic. So Adi Shankara's birthday, they say, is best celebrated by reading and studying Bhashya, which is what we have done today. How nice. How nice that it fell on the day of Bhashya studies. Very, very nice. So, yeah, any other questions? I have a question. So, is this class at this time, and also not just this class at this time, having 2 classes on Wednesdays, is it working for people?
It doesn't work for me usually.
No.
I usually have a class, an exercise class
What time?
at 4:30.
No, you can go. Go.
But today I don't have time.
Oh, okay. She doesn't want to go. Yeah. So, so generally you have it this time. So is there any other time that we can shift it to that is better for people? Because I'm getting the feeling, I'm not getting the feeling today because everybody is there. And today everybody was, with the program. But generally I get this feeling that people are not that happy with this time slot. Is it just my imagination?
I'm happy.
You're okay?
I'm okay.
You're
Today
okay
was
too.
a little bit full.
Yeah.
That was just this week.
Yeah. So you just go leave when you have to leave. We leave at 4:15. Yeah. We go up till 4:30.